It's Sunday, I'm wearing this jacket, and it means it's time to talk about Doctor Who. Also, I'm beginning to think that I need to wash this jacket this week, because I just smelt it, and let's just say it's not that nice. I keep hanging it up each week, I'm not really washing it, so I think I need to start doing that. Hello guys, this is Deargist, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the next episode of Doctor Who, which is called Praxeus. And this is what I theorised to be in my previous video when I talked about my theories and my predictions for the episode. I thought that it was some kind of virus thing that was spreading, and I was right, so... The episode was not bad, but I do feel a little bit disappointed by it. There's actually, I think, a good few reasons why. But I'll talk about all the good stuff and the stuff that I liked first. This episode gave an arc to one of its characters. I think that it did have slightly too many characters, but one of its arcs, one of its plots, its themes, with the character of the Jake. I see, so memorable. I've forgotten his name, but Jake, whatever he's called, he has quite a decent plot during this episode, which I enjoyed. I think that what they did with the virus stuff, the way that it looks and everything, is really cool, and I like the way that they used the birds as well, and I think the birds is also a pretty nice idea by itself. You didn't really need to add the virus stuff to it as well, but I suppose, you know, you stick two together, you can make a full episode out of it. I think because they were rushing around and everything, the episode was really interesting, so you kept like wondering what was going on, and the mystery, I think, was decent enough for you to be interested in it. There's a lot of good stuff, I just I kind of struggled to get it out. So here's a few extra things. Okay, so the companions, I felt like they were a little bit weak this episode. You know, they get a couple of cool moments, but overall I just think they were a bit underused. I think that because we have so many characters in the episode as well, that they're all trying to set up, the fact that we have, you know, 2 or 3 get killed off is pretty cool, and we see them, you know, get murdered in the reaction of their friends, apart from, you know, that guy that's outside and nobody seems to care about him anymore. She walks away and he's dead. Well, that's what she presumes anyway. And we never see him again, and she never mentions him again. I think that the whole sort of idea of the episode and the fact that it's split into 3 parts is really cool, and it was a good way to try and get the companions to do more. But at the end of the day, it didn't really do that, did it? Because they kind of just brought them back together again whenever they could. Look, I want to say a lot more good things about the episode, but I just feel like everything kind of merged in, and it just felt like, yeah, this is a pretty decent episode, but I can't really say anything that really stood out to me as being that interesting or that big that I really had to mention it in this review. You know, I quite liked the characters, they were quite interesting, the villains were cool and everything, but at the end of the day, nothing surprised me to the degree that I want to sit here and say, oh my goodness, this happened. The spoilers from this point onwards, I think that the villain was kind of the weakest point of the episode. This girl, she's the scientist, I've forgotten her name, you know, because it's really memorable, this episode. I've forgotten her name, but she was an alien, but she looked human. Everything about her was human. There was no inclination that she was a bad guy. She just was, because the plot needed it to be. Okay, and then there was this whole section where they started talking about plastic, not in the way that Orphan 55 did, thank God, because I felt like that was really shoehorned in, but I felt like this kind of fits in between the thing of, you're kind of on my nose, but you're kind of just away from it, that I think is acceptable. But what's worse is the fact that episode 4 of last season did the same kind of thing, where it started talking about rubbish and how the rubbish has created some kind of radiation that has made the spiders all weird. I think the episode needed some kind of villain, whether it was that woman that was infected by that creature and maybe it infected it to such a degree that it literally took over a personality. Maybe those that die from it don't explode but remain, and they remain alive, so that they can kind of chase them, etc. So you have that kind of excitement, instead of, you know, oh look, someone's died, they pop. Now what? So the episode tries to like disguise the fact that there's not a great deal here by showing you different locations, when you realise that the main part of the episode, and the only part of the episode, is that there's a virus, an alien virus, and it's just taking over people. And then they pop. Look, I would say that this episode has a lot of promise, as the basic stuff that would make a really good episode of Doctor Who. And do you know what? I think it was a good episode of Doctor Who, but it could have been so much better if the alien villain person was actually alien. Or, you know, was the gas mask stuff, because that's creepy enough. you know, for it to be warranted as a villain. I feel as if the episode kind of tried to blind you with like flashing imagery of different places to try and disguise its rather small plot. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know what the fan response to this is, and maybe I feel like out of all of the episodes that I reviewed so far, I think this is probably the difficultest that I've had to explain myself, and in my head I kind of know what I want to say, but what I'm saying is still a little bit scrambled because I haven't fully decided on it yet. And I'm very much open-minded into changing either way, whether I like it or not. And I'm interested to see where the fan response kind of goes. Whether I think there's going to be a lot of people that really like this, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that kind of think, yeah, it's all right. You know, I think part of the reason why I'm not as keen on this episode is that last week was really, really big. You know, we had Jadoon returning, we had Jack, we had Master, Doctor stuff, you know, we had all these interesting things connected to the plot, and then how this episode was so disconnected from all of that. It felt very Series 11, very one standalone episode, which would be fine, but it could not carry itself alone. You know, I could sit here and complain about it, but I still really enjoyed the episode. Throughout the entire thing, I wasn't bored. I was actually quite interested to see where things were going. But, you know, there was a few moments when I thought, I feel like they're teasing the Sea Devils at me, and it's kind of patronising how they're teasing it, but they're not going on with it. Right, I need to end the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe if you're new, tell me what your thoughts of this episode was. Mine are kind of mixed. I think that it's good, mostly, but there's just a few things that I just didn't like. Do you know what? I would say that, you know, it's definitely very hard. I just feel like it needed some kind of focus in the end. Maybe a villain, a reveal, something like that would be really cool. I'm not saying like story based, but I'm just saying that it needed some kind of focus, some kind of villain to make the thing more interesting. And this goes for many episodes of Doctor Who that kind of do this kind of thing. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.